and here's the build for the Grim Dawn in-depth playthrough. I've pretty much finished the build. I mean, I've obviously finished it to the point where the skill points I can currently put into it can take it, but I think I've gotten it mostly done on gear. There may be 2 or 3 things I got to replace out, but for the most part it's done. And I've actually got 2 things to show off here. One is the one-hand variant, and then I also have a 2-hand variant with it. And we'll get to what both offer in a second, but first, the build itself is based around Phantasmal Blades. Normally this has a cooldown, as a slight skill recharge time, but with the Frenetic Throw Transmuter, they have no recharge time, which means you can spam them. The Phantasmal Blades themselves, they start as 3 projectiles, and when you get it to the highest level, it makes it 5, I think is how it works. I completely forget because I've had it with the 5 knives for so long that it's always been 5 knives to me. And it's piercing damage and it deals weapon damage, so if you're using lots of cold, it'll transfer that through. And with the Heartseeker modifier, it makes it a cold attack, but also increases the bleed damage. But most importantly, it passes through enemies and has attack damage converted to health. So this Heartseeker is really the main focus of the build on top of these 2 abilities. So really I could have that as 1 point and I'd still max Heartseeker out, because really I wanted a cold Nightblade Arcanist combo, and this seemed like the best build to do. And it's actually a really common build for this, so there's a lot of support for it. Anyways, the other Nightblade abilities I'm using are all 1-point wonders. Pneumatic Burst is a great little heal. Shadow Dance is, more defense. Veil of Shadow is your passive defensive ability. Phantasmal Armor, more passive defense. And then Night's Chill, again, yeah, it helps you weaken things a little bit. Now the Arcanist side of things, before the level cap was increased to 40, I actually only got it up to where Myvan's Sphere and Arcane Will are. But once we got those extra skill points, I took it all the way to getting Mental Alacrity. But first, I'm going to point out I maxed Iskandra's Elemental Exchange because it just seemed like great passive damage you could have. And I maxed Alexstra's Flash Freeze because when you max that out, it becomes absolutely massive. It hits a huge area and just freezes all of the screen. It's a great defensive ability, and it's actually some pretty good cold damage too. And then I have 2 points in here just for more spirit. It really could probably be 1 point, but I don't really know where that other point would go. I mean, it'd go to Mental Alacrity probably, but I mean, I don't really think it's necessary to respec that point presently. And then after that one, it's all also more 1-point wonders. Absolute Zero for more cold damage and the slow and the frostburn. Mirror of Aractes is probably your best 1-point wonder Arcanist ability, just because you get complete damage absorption for 3 seconds. I mean, I don't even think you need more points in this, honestly. It just works great on its own. I mean, you could up it and it'll reduce the cooldown rate, but I think it's just fine the way it is. And then Myvan's Sphere Protection, again, as a 1-point wonder, it's mostly for that tiny bit of avoiding projectiles, and it does, it absorbs some damage. 1 point in the Arcane Will, because I often find myself losing half of my hit points, and that extra bonus damage is always fun to get. And then I think any combination of other class with Arcanist, I mean, with some exceptions, but I think most are going to want to try to get to Mental Alacrity. It is just way too damn good an ability. It just makes you attack so much faster with everything. I have Calidor's Tempest on my other Arcanist, and it's like Mental Alacrity just makes it sing. So I mentioned I have a one-hander and a two-hander situation going on. My one-hander is just the Salazar Sovereign Blade of Spellweaving. I actually should get a cold implement and try and roll it to have cold damage on it. But this was just the best thing I could have the best thing I had at the moment, so that's what I'm going with. I did have the Spellwinder's wand. My rising intonation means it's a question. We have to look at my stash real quick. Spellfire wand is another good thing to try and craft up, since you can get that as a plan. I think it'd be best for something that uses cold and fire as a build together, and there's actually quite a bit of gear to support that. But yeah, I wanted just the cold damage for now. And then my offhand is Crushing Will, which is a fantastic offhand. It's just pure elemental damage. It's like everything you could ever want in an offhand for an elemental based character. And even if you're not really that elemental based and you want an offhand, it's got, you know, a lot of casting speed on it, which is pretty good. Plus it's +1 Iskander's Elemental Exchange, also pretty good. Amulet of the Eye. It's an elemental amulet, and I put an Arcane Lens in there. My rings, my Band of Black Ice, I put a Mark of Illusions in. Good chunk of cold damage, +2 to Electro's Flash Freeze is awesome. And Mark of Illusions is a great ring add. This is just a cold damage ring. It's nothing special. I put a Polished Emerald in there because I actually need to keep my physique above 396. And I'll show you why in a second. The chest piece is a Night Hunter's chest guard, but this I think I really need to switch out. I think it's time to switch it out for a crafted chest piece. But it serves its purpose now, and it's actually not too terrible. Attack speed, bonus to Knight's Shield, cold damage. Slith Scale leg reps, more cold damage, more cunning, chance to avoid melee attacks. Put some ancient armor plate in there. Very, very nice. This dropped for me today, actually, the Mantle of the Weeping Eye. It does have Aether damage, and I debated giving it to another Arcanist, but I went with this Arcanist because it has Elemental Awakening and Iskander's Elemental Exchange on it. So I think it's meant for a Nightblade Arcanist, even though I can't get to Elemental Awakening yet. And that'll be a possible thing to build around too. Because I actually think the next level cap, I'm going to try to get... Level cap increase, I'm going to try to get the points out to Merciless Repertoire and, I guess, Elemental Awakening now. That needs Mutated Scales, is what I'm going to put in there as a component. Inscribed Bracers, even though I'm not using Kalidor's Tempest, it's elemental damage and it's casting speed, which is awesome. And I did put Restless Remains in there, which is more casting speed and more energy. And that I don't even care about the Retaliate to reduce enemy health, but it's, you know, a nice little bonus. Adept's Greaves of the Kings is elemental damage, health, energy, defensive ability, movement speed, elemental resistance, reduced stun duration, soul resistance. It has Cold Flash on it, which is the ability you get when you craft it, which is a nice ability, because getting a free freeze in there is always nice. But also, mine came with War Cry. So, there's a 5% chance when hit that I'll get a big damage boost. There's always a nice add. Always a nice thing to have pop up. I put Mark of the Traveler in there because I don't have Mark of the... It's like Morgaden or something like that. I don't even think I've seen that drop once. So Mark of the Traveler is all I could really put in there. I have a Mighty Ranger's badge for the physique. And I put Vengeful Wrath in there for lack of anything else to put in there. I mean, Black Tallow would have worked. But I don't really feel like I need the regen. And it's 10% cold damage. I needed the physique on there. Again, I'll show you why in a second. Tempest Chain Belt, standard elemental belt. Again, I need the physique from the add-on. And I crafted up a Glacier, because it's the cold damage relic that I have. Now, the other offhand is Prismatic Eviscerator. Or not other offhand. My two-hand main weapon is the Prismatic Eviscerator. It is just a ton of damage. And it's a ton of damage. And yeah, it's +3 to Kalidor's Tempest. And that's +2 to Kalidor's Tempest. So I could immediately jump it up to a +6. And this guy's damages... he's actually got a lot of fire damage with this particular setup. I mean, if I switch it back, it's not a lot. I mean, it's still, you know, a good amount. So he could actually get Kalidor's Tempest going on with that weapon. which amuses me a bit. The only problem I have is I have them both with Cold Stones. I don't think I actually pointed it out. And Cold Stone gives you Chill Aura 1. And, yeah. It's annoying that it goes away if I ever switch my weapons. But even with this, like, his attack speed with the knives is really fast. And with the two-hander, it's like just really crazy damage he can deal. The downside of the two-hander, and I'll point this out with my Crushing Will. The downside of the two-hander, and I didn't point this out, is I lose Radiant Shield, which is a tiny bit of elemental damage and elemental resistance, which isn't the big reason for Radiant Shield. For me, it's losing the the Radiant Gem. For me, it's losing Radiant Shield, which is a really solid defensive ability that it gives you when you're dealing with elemental mobs. But anyways, we're gonna pop our Chill Aura, and we're gonna go fight something. I think I'm just gonna go, because I don't need to go through a whole dungeon, I think, with this build, given how long I've been playing it in the in-depth playthrough. So we're just gonna go and show it off a little bit. So one of the key things is, and I think I actually mentioned this in the playthrough occasionally, not only is the build really strong, but because of all of your defensive abilities you have, between Pneumatic Burst, Mirror of Rock Tease, and the giant-ass Elixir's Flash Freeze, you're going to have a ton of potions just sitting around. Like, I have 40 Tonic of Mending. And I want to get a big group because I want to actually show how big the Flash Freeze can be. So it's like, bang, it hit that guy way over there. And a lot of the stuff that it hit is dead. So, yeah, all my defensive abilities are gone because I'm talking like an idiot while trying to do this. But yeah, this guy's great for farming money, because he never needs potions ever, and he just kills everything. It's very quick. So that was the one-hander, taking out a few trash mobs. So we're gonna switch over to the two-hander. We go down here and we hit the Cold Aura again. Oh, and I'll point out my DPS of this jumps up to 1178. And I think my highest crit has happened with the two-hander, predictably enough. And I don't even know if he needs the two-hander. It seems like it's a bit of overkill with it, because I believe under here, yeah, the highest damage dealt, 5,320, is definitely with this two-hander out on a crit. I don't know if that's an impressive number compared to other people with this build, but I feel impressive with it. Come on, give me something to fight. Oh, there we go. So, ow. That was a potion. Yeah, the hero's dead very quickly. Oh, why is it Aether Steel Alloy, not Aether Souls? So annoying. I wish I'd just get the damn plan for that thing already. Oh, these guys are terrible. The guys that shoot, the Aether guys that shoot. I hate them. These do so much damage. You're gonna take the long way around, guys. Ugh. So let's get some big groups together again. We'll just be crazy about this. Just kaboom, kaboom. Okay, yeah. Problem there was I killed a bunch of scarecrows and they spawned their damn little Aether things, and the Aether things hurt me. It looked like. Oh, and I think I had one of the Maybe one of those annoying shooting guys got me with one of his stupid little grenades. Excuse me while I pick up yellows. I'm supposed to be doing a guide. But yeah, thanks to Heartseeker, we get a piercing attack, so it's like, it's great against groups. It's great against single target. You can actually sustain really well. Caught on a corner. All around, it's a very, very solid ability. In fact, the only problem I have with it, is with the way the knives fire. So we can get to a wall, because like if I'm next to a wall, my knives won't actually fire because they get caught on things. And like you can even see it like when I hit that tree, like sometimes knives will get stopped by things because some of the projectiles in the game that you can fire will actually collide with either enemy projectiles, and you occasionally see that in the actual playthrough, where you'll occasionally see like a knife just spin out of control and fly off somewhere. That's because, as far as I can tell, that's the knife like hitting a tree, and you can kind of see like it stops and slides around. Yeah, like there we go. Live your dreams, buddy. That's just from the knife hitting. Whoa. All right, everyone out here, calm down. So we kaboom. Now I am sort of button mashing. I end up button mashing with this a lot because like you do fire fast, but it's almost like you can fire as fast as you can pull the trigger. Okay, now there is one other thing I want to do. Go away. Now you're just annoying me. And that thing is Gutworm. Excuse me for clearing my throat. Gutworm is a, he's a unique hero in Smuggler's Basin, and he guards a Supreme Chest. And Gutworm, we're gonna... Like, this is just insanity, how fast we can kill Gutworm. Like, we don't even break a sweat killing this guy. And we get his Supreme Spoils. Sparkbolt Arbalest. Ooh, and Focusing Prism as a plan. That's pretty neat. One last note before we close out. When the next level cap increase happens, I'm probably going to finish off Mental Alacrity. I may build Absolute Zero up. I may consider dropping a point in Calidor's Tempest and its modifier, and maybe even Wrath of Agravax as sort of like a big bomb attack in addition to my daggers. And then if it's a more sizable increase, like 30 points, like up to 50 instead of up to 45, I'm going to go for Merciless Repertoire and Elemental Awakening. I don't really think there's another. Might put a point in. I think it's Ring of Steel, and then put a point in Ring of Frost. Because it will be another sort of big bomb if I ever get surrounded. And then a point in Anatomy of Murder, just to have a point in Anatomy of Murder. And then maybe a point there, but I doubt it. I don't really think the defensive abilities need increases right now, but I would also consider that in like the far future is just building up Pneumatic Burst and maybe Elemental Awakening when there's a lot of points available in the future. But for now, that is how I'm structuring this build. It is mostly DPS with self-defense abilities. The two-hander is used on the DPS side of things, but if I ever do need to play more defensively, I can switch to the one hand in the source with Radiant Shield. So otherwise, thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it cleared up some questions that might have come up regarding the build I was using in the in-depth playthrough, because I know I had at least one. And I hope it detailed everything. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.